Um, we've had a number of people come on right now, and basically stage hypnosis and clinical hypnosis, sometimes we have a tendency to butt heads. And I found that stage and clinical can work hand in hand to, number one, promote the industry, to number two, like what Larry said and what Jerry said, is that doing stage hypnosis, you develop a new confidence level. You go into a situation with one-on-one and you think on your feet. You're never thrown a curve that you can't handle. I find that every time something happens to me on stage, turns into an opportunity. Years and years and years ago, I took pictures with a Polaroid camera. Well, I didn't start taking pictures. What happened was I was at a show and somebody was sitting next to the edge of the stage and they took a picture with a Polaroid camera, and I took that picture and I used it as part of my post-hypnotic suggestion. Well, it worked out so well that from that point forward, I took a Polaroid camera with me. I take pictures of people, and at the end of the show, I said, "You think you would ever dance with a broom?" And the guy said, "Well, absolutely not." I pulled out the Polaroid picture. There he was, dancing with the broom. So it was proof of what he did. It was kind of funny. It added to it, and it was one more tool in my bag. So I guess from what Derek said just a bit ago is that you have to have many tools. The motivational speaking, public speaking as part of that, and Toastmasters doesn't cost a penny to join. You get a time to practice in front of people that you become comfortable with, and things happen for a reason, and they move you forward. Well, I'm going to go ahead and try to move forward here. It looks like William's not going to be able to jump with us, so we're going to introduce David Wright. Hi, David. How are you doing?
Good, Jim. How are you?
Absolutely fantastic. Let me tell you a bit about David, and if I mess up, you can let me know, David. But David's
not a problem.
You're from the Detroit, Michigan area.
I am.
And tell us a little bit about yourself, because I can do it, but I think you can do a better job.
Sure. Well, again, my name is David Wright. I am currently the clinical director of an outpatient therapy clinic. We're located in Taylor, Michigan, which is a southern suburb of Detroit. I've been practicing clinically for almost 25 years now. I'm a licensed professional counselor in addition to being a certified hypnotist. And I'm taking a little bit different approach here as far as a lot of the guests that we've had on so far, is that I've been doing clinical for many years, but I'm just recently getting into the entertainment stage portion of it. So I probably have a little bit fresher, newer approach on it, let's say that.
Okay. And how did you get hypnotized? Like, you have a very, tell us what you do in your clinic. You're a counselor, and you have
I'm a licensed professional counselor. I'm the clinical director as well. I do, in addition to doing traditional therapy, I'm the only hypnotist in our office. So I'm pretty busy as far as my hypnosis clients go. But again, a lot of clinical issues: anxiety, depression, weight loss, smoking cessation, pretty much everything that hypnotists can help. I do that in our office as well.
And what made you decide to get trained as a hypnotist to work to do it clinically?
Well, it's funny you say that, and again, this may be a little for the traditional therapists out there. This may be a little bit of heresy, but I've spent years and years, since even before I went to school. I minored in psychology. My master's is in counseling. I worked for many summers as a camp counselor, volunteering. And as I got into the therapy of it, I felt like I spent a lot of time talking to clients, and after 10, 20, 30 sessions, you just didn't see a lot of progress sometimes. And that could be the fault of me. It could be the fault of the client. Again, there are a lot of questions on why that would happen. But after doing that for so long, I thought there's got to be a quicker way to get to these issues. There's got to be a quicker way to resolve some of these underlying things that are going on. And that's when I got interested in hypnosis. And again, started out, again, just watching online, just finding whatever I could online and watching it, and just kind of soaking that information in, and just decided I thought that would be a useful tool for me, more useful than what I've been doing. And that's how I kind of made the transition to do that.
And your success rate with the clients that you dealt with, once you added hypnosis to your tool bag, did it go up at all? Did it stay about the same? Was it faster?
It went up exponentially. It went up. It's almost like I had a different career at that point. It's almost like just transformed. And, you know, even just client responses and referrals, it just, the whole thing opened up and it was like a brand new world.
And what does your professional colleagues think of you working with hypnosis?
What does who think?
Your professional colleagues, the people you work with on a daily basis.
You know what? It's funny you say that, because you know, in our clinic, the clinic that I'm the director at, we have 10, 11 therapists right now. We have a psychiatrist on staff. We have 6 office staff. So it's a pretty sizable clinic. And I get differing reactions. You know, a lot of the traditional psychologists that we have on staff are maybe not so accepting of it. Again, that they appreciate it, but I don't think they quite understand it. And I think that's the biggest issue for many of people. They don't understand it. So if you don't understand something, you're going to be skeptical about it.
Sure. Well, then you made the big step. You went from how long were you doing the hypnosis in your office before you decided to look at the stage, and why did you decide to look at the stage?
Well, I've been doing it for many years. In fact, even before I was certified as a hypnotist, I was always using meditation and guided imagery and all of the components that make up hypnosis. You know, I was using that from the get-go because I found those were very useful tools. You know, I just became more interested in the show side of it in the last year and a half, 2 years. I started watching things online, again, watching everything I could get my hands on. I watched online from you to, you know, some of the big ones were you and Mark Savard and Richard Barker, and watching all of these things online, I just became kind of honestly, I became obsessed with it. I thought, I want to do this. This is something, I mean, I know how to hypnotize people. I do it every day. I want to take this to another level. Well,
and you decided to come to the Powerhouse Summit last March. In Iowa, that myself and Sean and Richard put together this program. Why did you decide to come to our training, would you say?
Well, it's funny because I've been online looking for a training. I've been searching around thinking I got to do a training. I want to get with somebody who knows what they're doing. I want to learn how to do this. You know, so I was following numerous people, and I ended up emailing Richard at some point. I think probably I emailed him 4 or 5 times over the end of the prior year. And then right about maybe November, December, this Powerhouse opportunity popped up. He said, this sounds like it's be perfect for what you're looking to do. So that's how I kind of got connected with you, and then also with Sean.
And you actually, how long after you went back from the training did you do your first show?
Within a couple of months.
Yes. And now you have the confidence. You're still doing shows.
Still doing shows. In fact, I just did one a couple of weeks ago, a corporate event for a mortgage company. Did their holiday gathering.
And how is it? Okay, the stage now, has that made you any different in utilizing hypnosis in your office? Has it changed your approach? Most definitely
does. I think it's approaching it from a different angle. I think you learn so much, not more necessarily, but different when you're on stage. You have to handle things on the fly, and you're not focused just on one person. You're focused on 10, 20, 25 at the same time. So it's a lot different, and you got to be a lot quicker with things. You got to be on top of things much faster and be aware of what's going on. You know, when you're one-on-one, you're just focused on one person. It's kind of, you know, it's easy to stay right in tune with that person.
Right. But have you been more flexible then when coming back one-on-one then? They can't throw you any curves? You can handle anything?
Oh, most definitely. And again, it's almost like even in individual sessions, and when I'm doing clinical hypnosis, abreaction used to be a bad word. It's like, oh, you never wanted to see that. But that's, when I see that, it's like, all right, we have a reaction. We have some kind of emotion coming out from this. And as soon as that comes up, that's great, because I can take that and use it and make it work for the client. So you've gone from the traditional counseling to the therapeutic hypnosis, and now the stage. Now that was another big step in terms of your professional colleagues. Now you're doing it for entertainment. How did they respond to that, and how did you respond to them? I think it started out being an amusement for them, like, oh, this is funny, but once they started seeing it, once they started seeing videos and And I actually did a Halloween party back in October that my whole staff was invited to. So they got to see it live and in action. And the great thing is that from that Halloween party, I think I ended up getting 3 individual clients from that, just from being there and seeing that.
Absolutely. Well, have you found that, and that's a big thing with what I tell people, the stage part of it, if you really want to build your private practice and you do it in an ethical way, professional way, you're going to draw people to you one-on-one. We're doing some of that back here right now. I haven't done clinical for a long time. Kendra Summers, who's here in the office, she opened up an office, so we kind of partnered up. And my exposure to the hometown community, we have all kinds of people wanting to come in one-on-one because I hadn't done that for a long, long time. They saw me from my exposure on stage. So
absolutely.
Do you use, you go out and do any demonstrations in the community other than stage? Have you done any of that yet? Or
well, it's funny because again, I'm approaching this, and again, we've had a lot of great speakers on so far. I mean, again, between you and just even in the past few hours, you know, people have been on television shows and movies, doing cruise ships and doing, you know, major colleges. And I know you do more than, you know, 200-300 dates a year. So I'm a little bit different because I'm coming at it where I'm right in that beginning stage. So maybe I have a little bit of different reference on it. But for me, it's not just because I'm not doing a show at a place. Let's say I did a show a couple of weeks ago for this mortgage company. That was an event. That was a show. I went there. But I've had opportunities to do shows. I'll give you a good example. I was on a layover coming back from Hypnothoughts back in August. Ended up being like a 6 or 8 hour layover due to a flight delay. I ended up having 6-7 people in the waiting area in the airport, in the concourse, hypnotized with you know, probably 30 people watching. Again, it just turned into an opportunity where you start talking and we do it, you know, and there are opportunities like that everywhere. Anytime I'm at a holiday party, a family gathering, anything, anywhere where there's people, even if I don't necessarily actually do hypnosis, I'm making contacts. In fact, I was just at a Christmas party or New Year's party, New Year's Eve party, made contact with someone who was the president of a school board for a major community here in the Detroit area. So automatically now she has my card and my information, and we have the school board and the district now that I have opportunity to do something for.
Well, and you know, you have to look at this. A lot of people look at that. What can you do for that school district? One, most people don't realize this, but every school district has to do at least 2 in-services a year.
Yeah.
Well, you can take a motivational message and take hypnosis as part of that. Like we're going to have Anthony Galley talking a little bit later on this afternoon, and he does a lot of corporate work, and he does exactly that. Now, he doesn't even call it hypnosis, but he utilizes that in the corporate setting. So in the school system, you have the teacher in service, you have the after prom, you have the project graduation, and then you have other times where maybe the staff wants an entertaining program, or the superintendent wants a motivational program for the staff. So you got 5 different ways to market yourself with one person. So you're doing it.
Absolutely.
And you're making people aware, which is, I think, something we have to continually do as hypnotists to promote our profession. Number 2, you're becoming more confident in the process. Number 3, you're walking the talk. You're walking the talk. A lot of people don't. They don't walk the talk. You're walking the talk. You're walking the walk. You're putting it together. So yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's interesting because I just finished watching Derek, and I saw his presentation at Hypnothoughts as well. But you know, his whole focus as far as having a presence, having a presence on stage, and knowing how to talk to people. I mean, you know, anybody can follow a script and repeat words and go through that rote process, but in order to kind of connect with people, you just have to do it. You just have to start doing it.
And were you comfortable with getting up in front of groups prior to going out with the stage?
Well, I was fairly confident. I had some way back in history. I was a speech minor in college. I was also at the time. It was a fairly small university. It was Cornerstone University in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where I did my undergrad. But I was the junior class president. I ran for student body president. I was involved in student council. So I was comfortable being in front of groups. I also worked right out of college for a couple of years as a youth pastor in my area, way back. It seems like 100 years ago now. But again, I'm used to being in front of people, but talking to people and entertaining, and there are two different things there.
Sure, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Well, where do you see yourself going from here in terms of the hypnosis?
Oh, I just see it that the sky's the limit at this point. Again, I'm looking at what a transformation I've had just in less than 12 months as far as what I'm doing and what I'm the opportunities I've had, and I just see that blowing up. I'm just going to continue to push and do more and more and just build it. That's I'm excited and just I mean I really can't wait to see what the future has.
And I respect you for that, and because of that respect and where you come from and your background, what is there anything that I can do? Because I'm always wanting to improve myself. We had the Powerhouse Summit training for the first time.
Yeah.
What can I do next time around to make it even more beneficial for you or someone coming in to take a training in hypnosis? What could I do? Is there anything that I could add to it? Anything I could duplicate? Anything I could do that would have helped you even more?
I think what would be the most helpful thing is just practice, just doing it, just being on stage in front of people. And here's the thing too, and I'm open to improvement. And again, I think Derek even mentioned this in his segment. You always have to be open to improve. You have to analyze yourself. In fact, everything I've done in the past, well, since the Powerhouse Summit, everything that I've done, I've taped. Even when I was doing this airport thing in the concourse, I had somebody taping it on their cell phone and sending it to me so I would have it.
Absolutely.
Just you have to examine and look at what you're doing. That's the only way to improve. And you have to be open to suggestions. That's the big thing too. If you're not open to somebody giving you feedback, then you don't want to improve.
Yeah. And I guess I took that for granted during this last training. You know, people want to learn how to market themselves too, but until they become successful on stage, they don't have anything to market. So your idea,
exactly.
Yeah. So this next time around, I'm going to spend a lot more time on creating scenarios on what could happen on stage, having people get up there more, and actually running through it, like spending twice as much time on stage as we did even last time. But that's a good comment. I appreciate that.
Oh, that would be fantastic. Sure. And again, it gives people the practical experience of handling things on stage. I mean, here's the thing: you're always going to have challenges, no matter what you do, and it's how you handle those, and you have to experience them to know what to do with them. Otherwise, you're just kind of guessing. You can have somebody tell you, but until you do it and have to deal with it, that's the best way to learn it.
Absolutely. Well, as a professional counselor, when you use hypnosis, when somebody comes in, do they come in for hypnosis, or do they come into you for a counseling session and you utilize hypnosis as part of that session? How does that normally work?
They do actually both. And again, we get into the whole, I don't know if it's an ethical question, but there's a whole issue now of most insurance companies won't cover hypnosis as a therapy. They won't cover hypnotherapy. It's not reimbursable. So, I have a lot of clients that come in, let's say for depression or anxiety. Those are the big populations that I deal with right now. They come in because of that issue, because they have insurance, and then we can bill it and get paid for it. But then I utilize the hypnosis during that session because it's just a great tool to use.
So, so then you can get reimbursed if you use it as part of the session, but you don't have them coming in for just hypnosis.
Just that, yeah. And again, that's the whole ethical dilemma, that because I can tell somebody, I know we're going to do hypnosis, but we can't. It's just like you can't just say this is just what we're doing.
Sure. Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's a challenge. But I do get, again, a majority of my clients are just hypnotherapy clients that come in specifically for hypnosis. So. And
then they're coming in. They're not getting it paid for by an insurance company. They're paying for it straight out.
They're paying cash.
Hypnosis. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, what else would you like to talk about? Because I've asked you questions.
Let me address the hypnosis in the clinic setting as well. I know we're kind of stealing more of a stage, but this comes from that. I think that some of the best referrals I've had are from people who have met me or seen me doing stage shows, stage performance. One of the advantages of that is, one, they've already seen you. They kind of know you. They know your personality. They already know they like you. And at that point, that whole beginning interaction in a clinic setting is already taken care of. They've seen also what you can do on stage with people. They've seen what can happen with hypnosis. So they're already sold. You don't have to sell them once they get there because they know what they're coming in for. So that's the big advantage of getting referrals from stage.
So if you could leave anybody wanting to get involved, again, I ask everybody this, one thing that they should do, that they should look at, what would that one piece of advice be?
Oh boy, it's hard to limit it to one. In general, I'll try and limit it, but I won't go too far. One is watch everything you can find on hypnosis. Whatever you want to do, watch as much as you can. Find everything out there that you can. You're going to see some great hypnotists out there. You're going to see some not so great ones, but that's what you want to see. You want to see the difference and know what they are. Because the more information you can bring in and assimilate, the better you're going to be able to do it yourself. Absolutely. So watch everything that you can watch. The other thing, and again, this would add to that, is just start doing it. Anytime you're interacting with somebody, it's an opportunity to bring up hypnosis, do hypnosis, or get somebody to be interested in it.
And what was the first show that you did then? The first
would have been actually the summertime when I did the Galena show down at the theater, down with you. Yeah.
And you know what? That was the first show you did, and you looked
from beginning to end. Yes.
Yeah, you looked extremely confident.
Yeah.
So you had to put together. You had the package started before you even came down. We had a small theater in Galena last year where we had a number of hypnotists come in and work. And I mean, you from the get-go, you're right on top of it. So I knew that you're going to walk out of there and you're going to do well. Plus, like you say, and like Derek said, look at as many people as you can, learn what you want and what you don't want. And you're going to learn from everybody. It's as simple as that. So
yeah, absolutely.
Well, we're going to
it's just,
yeah, go ahead.
No, it's just been really a great 10 months just learning and just doing something new and something that, I mean, in addition to being fun, it is fun. It's fun to be on stage. It's fun to do hypnosis and to show how it works and let people have fun. But you're also, again, you're planting seeds with these people. I mean, you may have somebody who, I'll give you an example. I had a gentleman the last show that I did for this corporate event. He was a huge Michigan fan here in Michigan. And if you know Michigan, there's a Michigan State rivalry here. That's, you're either maize and blue or you're green and white. There's one or the other. So this guy was a huge Michigan fan. So I had him, under hypnosis, I had him say that he hated Jim Harbaugh and hated the Wolverines and was a big Spartan fan. So the people that were there were just amazed because they knew what a fanatic this kid was. And afterwards, probably 10 people came up saying, well, I've seen how this works. I've seen what this can do. I want to use it for something in my life. And at that point, I had, of course, and I'll use one of Richard's favorite things, back of room sales. I ended up just clearing out everything I had was gone from that show. Everything I brought got purchased and it was gone because people then wanted to stop, quit smoking, losing weight, be less anxious, perform better professionally, and it just goes from there. It's just like an explosion once you do that.
Well, I think one thing too, are you willing to talk to other people who are in the same kind of profession as you as to how to get started, the pros and the cons?
Oh, most definitely. I would be happy to. And again, I have a little bit, like I said, a little bit different approach here because I haven't been doing this for 30 years.
Yes, I like.
So, and I think a lot of the beginning hypnotists, at least people who are beginning to do stage, it can be intimidating, and it can be like, well, I hear all of these guys that have been doing this for 30 years and been on TV, and it's like, I'm nowhere near that. But now you have somebody who's kind of in the beginning stages, who's just starting to be successful, and that definitely I would have a different perspective.
Well, what I see too with you, David, the passion. I saw that one with you, and that passion is something that you can't learn, you can't teach. It's there. You have the passion you're going to be successful. I absolutely know it. So.
And I think the big thing I remember too, Jim, is when we were getting ready for that Powerhouse Summit, there was a questionnaire that went out that said, okay, so what areas do you think you'd want to do when we have a show or when we get on stage? And I said everything. I want to do everything that's possible.
You did, and you were
have to do everything.
You were the
For
only
real? The only one.
Said they want to do everything. Well, maybe you'll get a chance to come back. We're going to do it again in June, and
most definitely
become more of the star. Well, if anybody wants to get in touch with you, what kind of contact information are you willing to share?
I'm going to put my link for my websites, both of them, for the for my entertainment and also the clinic website. And I'll put it into the chat bar right now. And you can feel free to contact me at either of those places. If they go to the website, the emails will be in there to contact me.
Well, I'm
going to phone information.
I'm going to put Kenda on here. She might want to say something to you before you take off. But
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I want to talk to Kenda.
We'll see.